How you doing, everybody? Tom here, Arcader Zero. Going to talk a little bit about a role-playing game system, um, which I've actually come to really like. It's called Tiny D6 is the system. Not sure if everybody's heard of that one, but it got a lot of accolades like on Drive Through RPG. And I decided, you know what? Somebody mentioned some, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. So I bought the Tiny Dungeon book. Now, Tiny D6 is they describe it as a minimalistic role playing game system, which it is. Uh, it's it's very minimalistic. I mean, basically, the gist of it is you roll two six-sided dice. If any of them come up on a 5 or a 6, you succeed at your task. And there are no stats or anything else. You're getting qualities that improve your chances. So you might get to roll with 3d6, or you might have something that gives you focus, which means if you succeed on a 4, 5, or 6. So very easy to comprehend. And it's a complete role playing game, and you can play through it, but there's not a lot to it, and in a way that's really good because it gives you a lot of freedom to kind of develop your own. This is probably the most hackable system I've ever seen, where it is so easy to say, oh well, if my character wants to be able to do this, oh that's very easy to do, let's just write this out, boom, done. Okay, not to say that it doesn't have a good list of qualities and other materials so you can make other, kind of games with it, not just like a Dungeons and Dragons game, but very interesting. Damage at its core is something's either going to do 1 point or 2 points of damage. That's it. There are other systems that you can put into place where you actually roll, but that's pretty much it. My big regret is I should have gotten the hardcover version. I mean, the soft cover is very nice. It's still black and white art. The art in it is excellent. He tends to use, I think, the same artist for a lot of it, but it's really good. Really good. I mean, even look at that color. So I bought this and I said, yeah, you know what? This is kind of interesting. And I know they had a Supers book. So I was like, let me get the Supers book. And I think I did a review on this already. Really good. Needs a lot more powers. But I'm glad I got the hardcover because the pages inside are all color and the art is excellent, very consistent. Um, and once again, very easy to hack. Oh, you don't have a power for that. Well, I'm actually making like an ultimate powers book for this, just for my own use. Um, but yeah, that's here. And some of the powers that were missing, I found came out in this book, which is the Gloomverse. It's kind of like their in-house universe, because they're not using like DC or Marvel or anything. But another fantastic book, and it has rules for bases and everything else. Very simple. Everybody can learn to play this within, probably minutes. And building a character, is very quick and concise, the way it should be. And one of the things that I'm most impressed about is, without being weighted down with lots of rules, it gives you and your players more chance to tell a story, more chance to really go into detail. This is kind of what my character is. So, at its face value, like doing something like a supers, if someone says, oh, I want to throw that car over a building. Well, you don't have super strength. There's no way you can do that. But if you have tiers of super strength, then yeah, that should be something you should be able to accomplish. It's just kind of, makes you think what's, what should be possible. Then I got Mecca and Monsters, another fantastic book. Because I love friggin' kaiju. I love giant robots. I'm a big fan of Grandizer back in the day. I watched all the Godzilla films, and I still do to this day. Oh, I ain't even got a Godzilla shirt. This is a good book. This is, it gives you enough to make your own giant robots, your pilots, combiners, make your own kaiju. If there's not something in here, it's very easy to say, oh, well, let's just write it up, and that's kind of what it does. Extremely easy to do. It gives you all the tools you really need. And there's I should note that in the back of a lot of these books, there's things for settings and everything else. I mean, look at that art. The art in this is really good too. So another friggin' fantastic book that they put out. Solid quality. Um, some people complain about some spelling errors and some things like that. Yeah, it fucking happens. Whatever. All right. Then I got this one. This is the Micronomicon Compendium Magic. This book is freaking wild. Look how thick this book is. Okay. For a minimalistic, I'm going to go back to Tiny Dungeon. Okay. Which spells are just like basically kind of glossed over, and you have to kind of come up with it yourself. But they have rules for more intense spell casting. Then somebody comes out with this book where they understand how easy it is to hack that system and kind of create your own. There's tons and tons of different magic systems in here. There's a magic system for chefs, for people who cook magic food, give you a spicy bowl of soup that makes you breathe fire like a dragon. Yeah, it has it in this. Really friggin' wild. And I'll probably, if I'm running Tiny Dungeons, I'll probably go through here and I will, kind of pick pieces out of this and use it. But some people might, say, I'm still more of a fan of Dungeons and Dragons type with a little bit more, rules and armor class and everything else. Then they came out with this Advanced Tiny Dungeon, which takes a lot of the old school Dungeons and Dragons stuff and puts it in here. So you do have something of an armor class and everything else, and it works. It actually works really well. I think you get a system that is very much within the feel of the old school Dungeons and Dragons and a little bit of new school Dungeons and Dragons. But you really get to make your character your own. It's no more waiting for 12th level before you can do stuff. You can do stuff pretty much right off the bat here. It's really good. So after I got Mecca and Monsters, I keep wanting to call it Mecca and Kaiju, but I learned it was an offshoot to Tiny Frontiers, their space game. Look at how many of these books I fucking bought, right? I still want to buy more because I fucking love them. Yeah, somebody actually made a PDF of a Star Wars conversion for this, which is friggin' amazing. I remember running the new Star Wars game, was it Fantasy Flight games? I've got all the books down there. I should remember the name of the game company, but a lot of people had trouble adapting to that strange dice set where with the symbols and which symbol is a success again, and it was a little bit more difficult for them. We ended up switching it to a different system, I think to Cortex Prime. But this can run friggin' anything, any type of sci-fi that you want. They got rules for Force-like powers and everything, and the Star Wars conversion somebody did. It's a PDF. It's floating around there out there, but yeah, this was really good too. Fantastic. So yeah, I bought a bunch of books. But wait, I bought more. I bought Tiny Spies. And this is really good too. Believe it or not, they got like these cool rules for like cars, and you can totally turn this into Car Wars, the old Steve Jackson's games. That post-apocalyptic setting. Speaking of post-apocalyptic setting, I got Tiny Wastelands. Once again, should have bought the hardcover. That's the only thing I'm upset about. I thought I did, but ended up I didn't. But this is like Gamma World, post-apocalyptic, just about everything. Art in it, once again, is really good. Really easy to make a character. Really easy to make for a game master to make your own type of Gamma World type setting. They've got rules for scavenging, things like that. It's really friggin' cool. Everything that they do with this. And then I got, I promise this is the last one. I got this is like their monster manual, Besterium Vocabulum. It's a mouthful. But this is a really friggin' book. Look how thick this book is, okay? You're getting your fucking money's worth with these books, let me tell you. And, all the art in it's full color artwork and everything, and it's really good. Yeah, let's see another good one here. Look at this thing. Look at that. But, yeah, this is, you can use this for almost any campaign. Like some of these monsters could be transferred over to tiny wastelands and everything else. So in short, yeah, I absolutely love the system. It's very hackable. My biggest wish list for anything in the tiny D6 system is for them to come out with like just a core book with all the different qualities, because this has different qualities versus this one has different qualities. Like they have hacker rules in this one, which is really cool. Versus Tiny Frontiers. So you can either make up your own. You can pick and choose from different parts of books if you're making your own style of campaign. If you want like a sci-fi space variant campaign where there are mutants and everything, well, you can use two of those books. But I wish everything could be into one. And as far as the Supers campaign, I wish that they would have come out with a Master Powers book. I think that would be very cool. But I absolutely love it. The system is great. Creating characters, you choose a heritage that determines the amount of hit points you have, and then you get to pick so many qualities. So if you want to be a strong guy, you pick a strong quality. You want to be a smart guy, you pick smart. You want to be good at bar fighting, there's quality for that. Very simple system. My other big gripe is calling it Tiny D6, because I don't think the name really. It's there's nothing really tiny about this. Okay, the rule set is tiny. That's about it. But it's very deep. It's very involved. It's a very playable game. I'm gonna start running, I think, a tiny dungeon campaign as soon as my current Dungeons and Dragons campaign wraps up. We're doing Dungeon of the Mad Mage, but this kind of suits what my players do even more. There are other books out there that I want to get. I want to get they've got one for running a tavern. They got like a Baywatch type book. It's not Baywatch, but it's Baywatch. And I'm sure I could make Thunder in Paradise if anybody remembers that show. That was great. I highly recommend it. The books are freaking dirt cheap. You get your more than your money's worth with these books. I mean, honestly, if you kicked up the price of them a couple of bucks, I wouldn't notice. I'd still buy them. But they're priced more than fairly. And as you can see, there's plenty of material out there. There's even more. There's tons more that I end up wanting to get. They got zombie source book. They got all sorts of things. So you can do a zombie apocalypse thing. So yeah, Tiny D6. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend it. Go out and get it. Is it perfect? No. Can you make it perfect for you? Absolutely, 100% yes. And it's extremely easy to do. I think that's what a lot of people end up doing anyway. Even with like Dungeons and Dragons, people come up with their own house rules and everything else. Here the game system never comes in the way of the role playing. So role playing game. It actually really enhances it, and it's very tough to do at a minimalistic setting, rule set. So great job to the guy who wrote this, who came up with it, Alan Bahr. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong. But yeah, friggin' genius. Ended up absolutely loving it. Didn't think I would, but it's become one of my favorite systems. And I'm looking forward to running tons of shit in this system. What do you guys think? Have you heard of it? Have you played it? Let me know with your comments down below. Hit like and subscribe. Watch some other videos of me just talking about crap. Who knows? I hope everybody's doing well and having a great new year. And I'll talk to you later.